Hello everyone on a Wednesday evening. Win here with a Maine-specific video as a potent storm is going to deliver a bunch of different impacts to a lot of different parts of the Pine Tree State. Now, we've broken things down into three regions here. First is the coastal plain up to about 15 or 20 miles inland, and that's where we're looking at mostly rain. And that rain could be heavy at times as we head into early tomorrow morning, really a driving rain along the immediate coastline for the morning commute. And winds will also be an issue there, with a couple of gusts that may get close to 60 miles an hour on some of the peninsulas and islands of mid-coast Maine. Really got to watch those winds. Now, as you head a little further inland, closer to Lewiston, Augusta, Bangor, the lakes region here, that low-lying interior, that's where we are still going to see probably quite a bit of cold rain, but wet snow is also going to be a big factor, I think, in a lot of those locations that I just mentioned. With it mixing in during some of those heavier bursts, it's going to splat some of those really big flakes, and I do think some slushy accumulation is likely across that flat interior. Now, once we start to get into elevation, up in elevation here, we get into the hills and mountains. That's where we're looking at mainly wet snow, and several inches is going to be likely, and this is where plows are most likely going to need to come out. And wet snow and winds have the potential to create outages in this area of the state as well. Now, taking a look at our Futurecast radar, getting a little closer inspection of that rain-snow line, you'll notice how precip starts to break out as we head into 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Now, moving forward from there, you'll notice how there's heavy rain along the coastline and probably just inland. But look at that rain-snow line, a very impressive one, to say the least, and that's probably parked right over or maybe just to the northwest of Lewiston and Augusta. Bangor is a little bit more of a question mark. I think we'll have some cold air damming there, which could lead to some higher snow totals in the Queen City, while the rest of the 95 corridor sees a sloppy mess. Now, moving forward here, that rain-snow line does not move much. But by the time we get to 1 or 2 o'clock, this storm is out of here. It is a really quick hitter, probably a 7 or 8 hour storm, but it's going to be potent during those 7 to 8 hours. Now, here's the moment you've all been waiting for with our expected snow over the next 24 to 48 hours here. And you'll notice that along the immediate mid-coast and much of the south coast of Maine, it's just all rain. I don't think we're going to see much in the way of mixing, but you don't have to go too far inland, probably only about 15, 20 miles before you start running into some of those slushy coatings, especially on the back decks and on cars and stuff like that. Look at Lewiston and Augusta, though. Those are kind of the areas that are kind of on that line again, as they usually are with this type of setup. And I think it could really go either way between 2 to 4 and a coating to 2, and I could see amounts of 4 to 8 inches in some of the northern parts of town there as you head into Lewiston as well. Now, 8 to 10 inches is likely for a lot of the foothills and mountains, with a little bullseye at 10 to 14 over the ski resorts in some of those areas that we usually get that heavier snow. So basically, yeah, it's a pretty potent storm. The wind is probably going to be the bigger story along the coastline, but you don't have to go too far inland, probably only up into the foothills, to find some plowable snowfall that could also create some problems tomorrow morning.